All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. Today we are going over our Marvel Rivals tier list. I am GM3. I have mostly solo queued here, so yeah, let's see. So I'm gonna start with the tanks, obviously, because they're up here. So Hulk, I'm gonna put in A tier. I think he gets banned a lot in higher ranks, like constantly every game, but a good Hulk will do good things. Doctor Strange is definitely going to be an S tier. He's pretty much a must pick. I mean, he's played almost every single game, and especially with the Hulk team up, you get the extra gamma power for when he uses his burst ability. He just kind of melts people down. So he's definitely going to be in S tier. As for Captain America, I'm going to put him in B tier. Now, I want everyone to remember this is my opinion. Everyone's opinions are going to be different, but I have him in B. Um, I think he's a good distractor and disruptor. So if you're not paying attention to your backline and Captain America's doing his job, he is in there messing up your supports, messing up your backline. Even if he's not getting kills, he's drawing enough attention from your supports that they're not able to focus on healing. As for Groot, I'm going to put him in A tier as well. Groot is really good, especially once you figure out how to use his walls. His walls are huge. Not a lot of people in lower ranks are going to be breaking his walls quickly. And not everyone in the super low ranks knows that Groot's grass walls do damage when they're standing near them. Definitely, you got to be breaking the walls. His ult is really good, especially if he gets a wall up behind you. You're all done. Especially you get a team up combo with one of the DPS with their ults, and you're just kind of done. Venom, I'm gonna put in B tier as well. He's pretty decent. Similar to Captain America, I think that he gets a lot of value diving the backline, which is obviously what he's designed to do. But I think that he has more of an all out play style than Captain America does, where you need to go all out. You use your cooldown for shields, and then once you do that, you get out immediately. I mean, he's harassing backline and everything, but I think unless he has a Spider-Man or a Penny team up, I personally think he's not as good. As for Magneto, I'm going to put him in S tier as well. Definitely another should pick or most pick tank. Just being able to shield and bubble people to enable is so good. And his ultimate is constantly being used to counter Cloak ultimate in higher ranks. Definitely a must pick. Along with Strange and Groot, I'd say he's probably the most common tank I see. As for Thor, I'm going to put him in A tier. I think Thor has a lot of value with his melee damage, especially getting through tank shields like Magneto and Strange. Not only that, but also his ability for his lightning throw is really good. If people are grouped up, it gives him some distance. Otherwise, he would be probably down in B or C tier just because he's forced to get so close without those lightning throws. As for Penny, I'm going to put her in B tier as well. She is really good for anti-dive comps. If you are running into people playing Black Panther, Magic or Psylocke, and they're or Wolverine even, Iron Fist, they're diving the back. You play near Penny Mine, Penny Nest, she's able to kind of take a lot of pressure off the supports and put a lot of it onto the divers. I think that in higher ranks, she is only really good on defense unless you're pretty confident on playing a flanking play style, in which case I have seen a couple pennies do that pretty well. As for Punisher right now, I'm going to put him in A tier. He's got a pretty basic kit, but with the Rocket team up, he gets the infinite ammo, kind of makes him just an incredible tank buster, an incredible damage output. Even when he doesn't have his turret up, definitely going to be an A tier. Storm, I'm going to put in S tier, especially if run with Thor, where she gets her team up ability. and everything, Storm builds ult so quickly. And if you're not saving a Luna ult, a Mantis ult, Invisible Woman ult for it, you're guaranteed a kill or two with her ultimate. Despite that, she is constantly banned. So you probably won't see her as much in high ranks, but if you do end up in a game without Storm ban and you are playing against a good Storm, you definitely need someone who will be able to focus her. I'm going to put Hawkeye in B tier. He kind of lost his position in the ranking with his nerfs for sure. I've seen plenty of people in Grandmaster use him though and get value off of him. So if you're able to hit your headshots and make sure that you are not getting picked out of position, you can get decent value on Hawkeye. Sometimes in the lower lobbies, you can even roll a game on Hawkeye if you have decent enough aim and they're not playing a shield tank. Hela, I'm going to put in B tier. I'm going to put her in B tier for now. Ever since the nerf as well with Hawkeye, she's just lost a lot of her threat in the front line, and the only real good reason for Hela right now is her ultimate and for her team up with Loki and Thor. If you're Hela or you are Hela are able to get those final blows when your tank and Loki are down, it definitely is worth playing her because those revives can be huge mid-team fight. Black Panther, I'm going to put in B tier as well. I think that Black Panther definitely has value. He is really good at messing up support, specifically if you are good with him. He is definitely one of the harder characters to play just because you need to be able to chain his vibranium marks on people. If you can't do that, you are definitely going to struggle because chaining his vibranium marks are the most important part of his kit. That's how you're going to do most of your damage. Magic, I'm going to put in A tier, especially for mid-ranks like Platinum and Diamond. I would say not everyone's super used to being able to deal with a Magic, especially a good one, not without people like Mantis or Invisible Woman where you're specifically anti-dive in your kit. Same with Black Panther, but Magic just has the ability to teleport, which makes her survivability go up a lot more compared to Black Panther just because she's able to get out a lot quicker. As for Moon Knight, I'm going to put him in A tier. Specifically for lower ranks, I think Moon Knight is definitely a good pick. You are going to get a lot of value, especially because players in lower ranks usually tend to like to play grouped up, where your Moon Knight, you're able to get an Ankh in there, do a whole bunch of damage all at once because they're grouped, and you're able to build your ultimate pretty quickly. Another thing with low ranks in Moon Knight is not everyone is shooting his Ankhs, and because of that, he is getting a lot of value, especially if he's placing them well. Squirrel Girl, I'm going to put in B tier. Personally, I love playing Squirrel Girl. I think that she does a lot of damage, though she is definitely situational. I think some maps favor her better than others, especially maps with a lot of hallways and stairwells where her ultimate can bounce off, especially since the buff to her ultimate, where now after the first bounce and every other bounce, it tracks to the next player who is closest, especially in tight hallways and those stairwells. As I said, that ultimate can do a lot of damage. It can even kill through Luna ultimate. As for Black Widow, I'm going to put her in C tier. I think right now, a lot of people don't know how to get value out of her kit just yet. I think people are finally starting to learn, which is why she's not in D tier, because she has been getting a little more value, especially for people who can hit their headshots. I think that in the coming season or two, we will see Black Widow players probably get A, better, and B, more prominent. Mostly as people get better, people will start seeing her as valuable and start playing her more. As for Iron Man, I'm going to put him in B tier as well. I think especially with Hulk and Strange, he can do an incredible amount of damage with his E. when he has the Hulk team up. If he does not have the Hulk team up, he can still be a threat. Not everyone is able to hit him in the sky, and not everyone's able to pick out his flanks. Though I would say he is B tier specifically because I would say he's B tier because yes, for the for those reasons, I'm gonna put him in B tier. I don't know. I'm going to go to Wolverine next just because I want to think about some of these other characters. So with Wolverine, I'm going to put him in A tier. He gets banned constantly Actually, I'm going to put him in S tier. He gets banned constantly in higher ranks, and if you are only running one tank, Wolverine is going to melt your tank. He is going to prevent your tank from playing the game. You're not going to be able to out heal at half the time, and you're just going to struggle playing into him. A good anti-dive comp, Penny and Mantis will definitely help out. Same with Luna with her freeze. But when he is on the field, you just need to focus him out to protect your tank, especially if there's only one tank. For Bucky, he is going in S tier. His ultimate is just too good. He is able to constantly use it if he gets those resets. The problem with that is that there is no limit to how many he can do. If you have a Loki on your team and his clones are kind of spread out, he's able to get resets off the clone, keep his ultimate going for longer. Along with the Rocket team up, he just is honestly really oppressive in high rank. Same with Punisher, though Punisher gets a little less utility for his ultimate. Though with a Rocket team up, I'm gonna put Punisher in S tier just specifically because of the Rocket team up. As for Star-Lord, I'm gonna put him next. He's gonna be an A tier. He's a pretty decent DPS, though I don't see him played super often anymore. His ultimate is still really good, especially if they're not running an Invisible Woman, or he's able to time his ult into support ults well. He's able to melt pretty much half the team, at least most of the squishies. So he definitely gets to stay in A tier. As for Mr. Fantastic, I'm going to put him in C tier. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not think Mr. Fantastic is a bad character. I think, in fact, he could be buffed. But I think that it is either hit or miss when you get a Mr. Fantastic player. Either they are going to go crazy, run the lobby, getting 30 and 5 type deal, or they are throwing the whole game. And I don't think it is the fault entirely of the players. I just think that his kit can be a little underpowered unless you know how to use him properly. As for Psylocke, I'm going to put her in B tier. I think for lower rank, Psylocke can definitely be an issue, mostly because people aren't able to react in time. Maybe you're not running a Mantis or a Luna where you're able to get a freeze off. Or a sleep, in which case she can be really oppressive. But in higher ranks, more often than not, people are going to save Luna ult for Psylocke ult specifically, so that she can get countered out, or people are just going to be able to know where she is and freeze or stun and pick her out before she's able to do too much. As for Iron Fist, I'm going to put him in C tier. I definitely think there are definitely players who play him that are good. He's definitely just a niche pick right now. I think a lot of characters play better than him into most comps and against most comps. So I'm going to put him at C, though his ultimate is pretty decent, especially if he's able to get backline with a bunch of squishies. As for... We're going to save these 3 DPS because I definitely need to think about them. But as for supports, I think we're going to start with Mantis. I think Mantis is an A tier support. I think her ability to do damage while focusing on doing damage and having auto aim heals is so good. Her her heals are reset by getting critical shots, which means if you're doing your job, you're doing damage, you are getting your healing back pretty quickly. Sometimes that isn't always the case. Sometimes you have to play back, can't really focus on getting those crit shots and have to focus on using orbs and playing smart. But otherwise, her ultimate is almost as good as Luna's. You get, I think it's about 8 seconds maybe. You get the speed boost, you get the healing boost. It's definitely an A tier support. Loki, I'm going to put in A tier as well. Actually, I'm going to put him in B tier. I think in lower ranks, he's definitely not that good. I think people are in lower ranks are still learning how to place his clones, when to use his shift, when to copy. In higher ranks, though, Loki is constantly used to copy Cloak and Dagger or to copy Luna to really just sustain out certain team fights, and it can really be difficult with having a double Cloak or double Luna ult. As for Luna, I'm going to put her in A tier. I think previously she would have been in S tier, but I think there are some supports that are better, and by some, I mean one. But I think Luna is definitely A tier. Her ultimate is broken. Despite that, a lot of ultimates in this game do kill through it if you know how to do it. Punisher ult will kill through it. Magneto ult can kill through it. Not only that, you have Moon Knight ult that can kill through it, and you have Squirrel Girl ult that can kill through it as well if Luna is standing in a hallway. Same with Iron Man, with his ultimate as well can kill Luna through ult. So while Luna is good, and her ultimate is probably the best support ultimate in the game other than Cloak and Dagger, she is going to sit at A tier. Mostly because a lot of her healing is aim based. And that's why Cloak and Dagger is going in S tier. Cloak and Dagger gets the joy of not really having to aim. Now, a lot of people are going to get upset at that. There is a decent amount of aiming involved. You have to aim your crosshair in the correct direction. That's correct. But as for in terms of like Luna healing or Invisible Woman healing, you do have to aim a lot less with Cloak and Dagger. Now, the reason she is an S tier is her ultimate. Her ultimate, after she got the buff to get the 4th dash, she has become oppressive. She is able to take an incredible amount of space, and in lower ranks, a lot of people are scared to push into her ultimate when she has taken a lot of space because her ultimate is scary, I guess. Especially if she stacks, she gets 4 stacks. You can heal through a lot of ultimates if she's stacked 4 times. Not only that, but the fact that it heals and damages can be really good. You get a 4 stack damage. It's doing crazy amounts of damage to the enemy team as well. As for Rocket, I'm going to put him in C tier. Now, this is going to get a lot of people up in arms, and now here's my reason for putting Rocket in C tier. People do not play Rocket right. Rocket is not a bad support. However, a lot of Rockets in this game, lower ranks especially, will only heal bot on Rocket. That is not what Rocket is designed to do. He has a gun for a reason. You are able to get picks as Rocket, and you are able to do damage as Rocket. As you are shooting your heal orbs out, I highly recommend you put the healing feedback thing on your reticle so that you're able to see when you're doing healing. But when you're doing healing as Rocket, you'll see with the reticle on that you are able to do damage while healing the rest of your team. And the other thing I see as an issue that a lot of people are doing with Rocket is they are not using his ultimate right. His ultimate is not only a damage boost, but it's also a zone. So when you put that behind the payload, for example, you lose a lot of value that ult could have had. Your team is bound, per se, to the radius of your ultimate. If you place that ultimate ahead of the payload, it gives your team to walk forward into it, granting them damage boost the whole time. Especially in lower ranks, not a lot of people are going to be focusing on breaking his ultimate, which means that you are able to just place it far up and get more value from it. As for Invisible Woman, I think she is an A tier as well. Her ultimate is really good. It's definitely pretty short, and I don't know if they're going to buff the duration of it. I don't believe they should, but I think that a lot of players think that her ultimate might be too short. Um, Despite that, her ultimate, really, really good. No one can target you inside the ultimate. And on top of that, you if any enemy enters the ultimate, they get a slow debuff, which makes it a little bit easier to pick off people that want to get ballsy and get inside the ultimate. Now, it's not a super big debuff, and if they have an invisible woman as well, more often than not, those two supports will stack their ults against each other, kind of creating a Venn diagram where there's an area in between where both of their ults are overlapping. As for Jeff, I'm going to put him in C tier. Jeff is definitely a super niche pick higher in the ranks. I think for lower ranks, Jeff is okay. You're able to get a lot of healing through bubbles and through his spray, especially because it's a group heal. So if you're grouped up, you can heal a lot to your team at once. His ultimate is also really good for overtime scenarios where you are in overtime, their team's on it, Jeff goes in, he's able to swallow the whole team, and you're able to capture that checkpoint. Again, he is definitely a niche character, not super played higher up. I very rarely see Jeff players, if at all, though the Jeff players up in High Diamond, Grandmaster, and above are definitely some of the best Jeff players in the game and know how to use his kit well. There are definitely some Jeffs who play the flank play style where they are constantly flanking your team, doing damage, getting back and healing their team, flanking and repeating. So it is definitely situational, but I think overall his kit is definitely C tier. And we're going to go back to DPS. We're going to go to Spider-Man. We are going to put him in C tier. I think Spider-Man is hard to play. A lot of people can't get a decent amount of value off of him. Though with Venom, Spider-Man definitely becomes B or A tier. A lot of Spider-Man players will ask for a Venom specifically for the team up. It allows him to confirm a lot more kills than without, and he definitely benefits from the Venom. I would say in high ranks, a good Spider-Man will roll your supports, roll your backline, but a good Spider-Man can also be dealt with if you have good enough anti-dive players on your team. As for Scarlet Witch, I'm going to put her in A tier. I think a lot of the characters that have sort of quote-unquote auto-lock, Scarlet Witch being one of them, are just a little higher ranked because they take a little bit less mechanical skill to use. That doesn't mean that they are easy to play. They just take a little less mechanical skill. I think that in higher ranks, she can be good if you are good with her. Her ultimate is constantly blocked, or she's killed during her ultimate, or she's CC'd during her ultimate. And if you're not playing Magneto with her, or she's not getting creative, watching cooldowns, she won't be able to get her ult off very often. Though with Magneto and watching cooldowns, she can be super valuable, especially in domination matches where teams are usually pretty grouped up together. Especially giving Magneto a nice buff if you get the team up. Magneto's sword is super good into grouped up teammates or grouped up enemies, sorry. You're able to build a lot of ult charge off of his sword. As for Namor, I'm going to put him A tier. I think Namor is specifically really good into a lot of the dive characters. I'm talking Magic, Psylocke, Black Panther, Wolverine, all those characters. If you are good with Namor, you're able to set up your squids, make sure that they are less killed than other Namor players who might not be as skilled as where they're placing their squids. So it's definitely important to know where your squids need to be. There are a lot of good Namor players who don't need Luna, though the Luna team up definitely makes him a lot better for anti-dive. You get the slow effect on his blue squid, which makes it so that whoever gets hit takes slow, and if they are a Black Panther or a Psylocke, it makes it easier to confirm those kills because they can't get out as quickly. Magic a little less so because she can just teleport away, and Wolverine a little less so because he has his health passive, but it's definitely good for some of these divers. As for Adam, unfortunately, Adam is going to be in C tier. I think in some compositions, I have seen him do crazy work. If you are playing Mantis, Star-Lord, Adam, you have a full revive comp. You are going to have a lot of sustainability with this comp. However, that composition is not heavily played in high ranks. I'm not even sure it's heavily played in low ranks. I think Adam gets a lot of hate because he does not heal a lot all at once. His soul bond is not necessarily the best form of healing. If you're going to run 3 supports, I definitely think Adam can do well. Or if you're going to run Cloak and Dagger Adam or Luna Adam, I think Adam definitely has a spot. But otherwise, if it's Adam Mantis or Adam Rocket or Adam Invisible Woman, I just don't think he does enough healing to warrant a pick over any of the other supports. So with that being said, that is my tier list. This is a personal tier list. I don't think that this is a concrete opinion or anything. I definitely think a lot of these characters can be moved into higher ranks or in lower ranks depending on what rank of competitive you're playing in. If you're playing GM or above, some of these characters are not going to be good at all. If you are playing in gold or below, odds are a lot of these characters are going to be in the right rank, depending on where you end up playing. So that is my opinion. That is where I sit as a GM3 player. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like or comment. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.